Everybody, we are here to a new session of our AUTOBEST Summit sessions. This time we are privileged to have Pininfarina. This year is a very, very important moment in the history of Pininfarina, as the legendary design house is celebrating not less than 90 years. It is an important moment as they also launched a project called AutonoMIA. To discuss that, I invited as AUTOBEST next to my colleagues, we invited Giuseppe Bonolo, which is the Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing Pininfarina. Hello, Giuseppe.
Hello, Dan. Hello, everyone.
We invited David Carvalho, which is the Senior Vice President, Industrial and Experience Design, Pininfarina. Hello, David.
Hello.
And we have Francesco Ortix, which is the CEO of ART. You will understand very soon what is his contribution to this summit. Hello, Francesco.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
We are also happy to have our friend Francesco Fiordalisi, which is, as you all know, the PR director of Pininfarina. Hello, Francesco.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Now,
here. I can see his face. We are also happy.
I will invite you, all my colleagues, to mute your mics. And then when you will go for Q&A sessions, then it will be my job to invite you, and you will obviously you will unmute and you will talk as you wish. Now, I will start this by saying a few figures which are, in my opinion, absolutely fabulous, interesting, more than interesting, talking about that of 90 years of Pininfarina. It's good to remember that in all these years, Pininfarina House Design Studios managed to offer to our automotive history no less than 1,200 concept cars and another 600 projects from the industrial, architecture, and transport design. That's absolutely unique in the world of design. And for that, we pay respect. More than that, two other figures kept my attention, which is absolutely impressive. In the last 40 years, they used aerodynamic tunnel. Since 1972, Pininfarina was discussing, studying aerodynamics for cars. 1972. That's absolutely impressive. And last one, which is even more impressive, is about 42 years experience in electromobility. Imagine, my dear colleagues and my dear followers on Facebook, that Pininfarina started to show the first EV concept as early as 1978. That's absolutely amazing. Of course, today, when we talk about electromobility, it's the common word, it's the common expression everybody's talking about. But in 1978, it was a different story. So, being said that, I will invite one of our dear guests, our key speakers, to start with words and presentation. Who is first?
Let's start with Giuseppe.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Francesco, and thank you, Dan, for your introduction, which has been very accurate, and we thank you for that, because you have gone through quite significant numbers, speaking on behalf of our 90s years history. Actually, you're right. This year it's a very important year because it's our anniversary. We have to say that we have always been looking at the future in these 90 years. So this will be the approach also for the coming 90 years. But in particular, this year, we wanted to sign some further innovation some further discontinuity in the way we can approach the future. And this is the reason why we went for this new project, which is called AutonoMIA. I will introduce it briefly while. Let me say just a few words about the context. The context is that this year we were scheduling to mark the anniversary through different events. We had calendarized, we had scheduled different events, including, of course, the Geneva Auto Show and last March. We all know, and you in particular as journalists, we all know what happened about the cancellation of Geneva Auto Show, but this is just to say you that on that occasion we were targeting to present this project called AutonoMIA, which we started elaborating, conceiving with our partners, and today we are very happy that Francesco Ortix, our leading partner from ART, is attending this session. We started elaborating this concept in last autumn for the sake to show that Pininfarina, which is mostly known for physical design, is actually active and strongly engaged in experiential design, in designing experiences and designing user interfaces. And in particular, we wanted to show this to the automotive, to the car makers, to our customers, to startup companies in the automotive, in the form of a design project, physical and digital, which is fully functioning. And you will see later on through the presentation of Dave that this demonstrator is up and running at our headquarters in Cambiano, Pininfarina. Unfortunately, we were not anymore since then in the position to show it with physical sessions. So this day we will show you through images and through a video. So this is where we were. We were preparing this. Today we are very happy to share it with you through this virtual session because this is a new step in our roadmap to innovation. We are now approaching the user experience in the automotive with a new project that we will show you later on. Before entering into this, I would like to share with you something more about our 90th year anniversary, and I will start therefore from our video, which is, let's say, concentrating some of the KPIs that Dan, you have mentioned so far in a video, so probably it's the best way to warm up this session with you. So please, Francesco, you can go for the video.
Pininfarina has been designing the future for 90 years. The future of people, their dreams and desires. Design drives imagination beyond limits and technique. Design enables us to create emotions, meaning, and impact. Enriching and enchanting how people move, play, learn, and connect. We combine an innate Italian sense of beauty, balancing it with technological and business innovation, but also ethics. Design is more than an approach or a set of skills and tools. It is a mindset to interpret the world and to decide how to behave collectively to craft material and immaterial experiences, now and into the future. future that we at Pininfarina will continue to imagine, design and build.
Okay, thank you, Francesco. So you have seen that we ended up the video saying that we are designing the future since 90 years and we want to keep on. AutonoMIA is a new step in our approach about conceiving and designing the future. So I would hand over to Dave Carvalho to introduce you to this project. So please, Dave, probably supported by Francesco with the presentation.
Thank you. I have like very few slides. Hi, everybody. I'm so pleased here to have the opportunity to demonstrate and to show you the kind of advanced design we are doing within Pininfarina for the future of mobility. So can you project the very first slide? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I see it now. So I will start from two important facts. One which remains in the technological progress dynamics, and the other one which is part of a natural resistance to change in general and to social codes in particular. Automotive experts say that 10% of the automotive fleet will be equipped with an autonomous driving system by 2030. It will therefore use artificial intelligence. We will see later that this implies, from a development point of view, different things. And on the other hand, you have 71% of people, whether pedestrian, drivers, or passengers, that express fears about this perspective. It's clear that we have here a conflict which must be resolved and which meets Pininfarina philosophy to humanize technology. It's quite obvious that this fear is completely rational and probably due to the fact that very few people are exposed to this technology, and then fantasies took over reasons to believe. We are also convinced that from an ethical point of view, this is a progress that can bring a lot to our society, for more inclusiveness, giving access to mobility for those who cannot drive. This is exactly the perspective of this purpose that we decide to design AutonoMIA with the precious support of our partners. On the next slide, Francesco. Now let's talk about the product itself. Thank you. Let's face it, Pininfarina is not today recognized for its UX, user experience skills, right? That's why we wanted to really draw attention of our clients in this specific 90 years anniversary context, looking into the future. As I said earlier, autonomous systems are based on artificial intelligence. So in other words, it's a programming technique based on machine learning. Thanks to recent progress in mathematics and electronics, it's possible to give a computer system the ability to make the right decision based on a repetitive task, a routine, or an habit. For this, it must be exposed long enough to this routine so that all possibilities can be assessed and observed. Human assistance is fundamental here to sort out what is right and what is wrong. You have heard of these cars equipped with cameras that drive across cities and highways for miles and miles. This is part of this logic of learning systems when dealing with human behaviors on the road. It's not longer a written and predetermined programming. It's now new coding practices we have today. And we strongly believe that the same has to be done for what is happening inside the car, to perform kind of a dialogue, a relationship with the driver and the passengers. And we strongly believe that the same has to be done for what is happening inside the car, to perform this kind of dialogue. Out of our knowledge, nothing has been done yet, and car makers must use appropriate tools to expose AI to the occupants' reaction, which have an impact on the overall mobility experience. These are all about psychological, emotional, and behavioral factors that today designers and the designers of the future need to take into account on its decision. We are talking about the relationship between a machine and humans that imply the brand identity and personality, I would say, at the center. So this is something extremely important for a design standpoint. With Art Group, we wanted to start breaking also away from the old screen interior UI, porn screen, as we call it here in Have. And we want to have a more sophisticated and sensitive approach with the right combination between the seat, with which we are in contact, with the steering wheel also, the first screens at hand projection and projection of the windshield to create augmented reality. We also want to add sound and light ambiances to create a relevant expressive move, just like emoticons we use on the social medias. Time to time, we will replace screens by smart materials. This platform will allow manufacturers to test their interface biases and expose them to their customers in different contexts and environments thanks to the big screens placed in front of AutonoMIA. Car manufacturers will collect data sets based on their reactions and behaviors and first feed the learning of the AI platform chosen by the mobility operators for those available on the market yet. Today, it's an essential tool for designers and engineers to create an onboard experience that meets customers' expectations for tomorrow's mobility and smart cities. It's time now to watch the video, I guess, we prepare for you based on an extract of the use of AutonoMIA. Even if you understood, if nothing replaced the real use of such a device, to feel the subtleties that we created to connect to our senses and become one with the car and feel this trust growing with its system. Francesco, if you can project the video. Thank you. So this is just the start, and we want to grow in terms of capabilities, in terms of partnership, together in a participative way with the passengers in order to push the limits of this confidence that need to be created with such incredible technology and our customers. Thank you very much, and I hand over to Giuseppe or to Francesco.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm just handing over to Francesco Ortix. Let me say just one word about the strategic collaboration with ART. It was very important for Pininfarina to have a solid foundation into a technical contribution, a technical platform capable to accompany all our concept design about user experience and user interfaces. And we perfectly found it in the collaboration with ART. So this is what has contributed to really making functioning and also available, as Dave was saying, for scalability in future. Because the platform which is embedded in our demonstrator has two characteristics. It can be highly customized thanks to our design services and thanks to the contribution of the platform provided by ART. And then is scalable in future. So new services and new technologies, they may be applied. So I'm pleased to say that there is an important part contributing to this, which is coming from ART. So I'm pleased to hand over to Francesco for his own presentation.
Thanks, Giuseppe, for the introduction. Yes, as you correctly said, AutonoMIA is based on a new infotainment platform made from us, from ART, and it represents a big step forward of our already existing platform, infotainment platform that is used on most exclusive cars in the world. Let's say our platform, I don't know if Francesco has some, okay, yeah, thanks very much, Francesco.
You're welcome.
Our platform is called Artist 8, and it is, let's say, it is able to cope with the new requirements coming from the automotive market for the next generation vehicle. For sure, this platform is capable to handle a lot of displays and a lot of resolutions. You know that all car makers are pushing to have a lot of resolution. Then this platform is capable to have in the car up to 4K resolutions, like a huge TV, or a lot of displays giving a lot of interaction with the users. Another key point is that this platform is capable in one single hardware to drive all the cockpit domains. General architecture is one infotainment, one instrument cluster. This platform is capable with one single hardware to have both instrument cluster and infotainment basically controlled by software. And this, as you know, can increase the efficiency in making the vehicle because it is less space, less envelope, less cables, and then less weight and less consumptions as well. One of the most important factors of this platform is also that can, as Giuseppe was saying before, give the possibility to OEM to have a very flexible and customized HMI inside the vehicle. And for us, for ART, this is a strategic decision to partner with the Pininfarina to provide to the market this, let's say, solution. It is, let's say, customization of HMI and also possibility to interact with the system and with the functions in different ways with a multimodal, as we say, input interface that can be touch, can be voice, can be gesture, as you see it from the video. Obviously, the platform creates a more immersive environment with the user using allowing the use of augmented reality, and it is able also to cope with the automotive requirements of cybersecurity, because with the connected vehicles, you have a problem of cybersecurity, as you know, And also the respect to the autonomous driving regulation, it allows to cope with the safety requirements inside future vehicles. That's a presentation of our platform. Thanks very much.
So that's it, Francesco, correct? That was the presentation.
Yeah.
Good. Fantastic. Really very impressive. I will thank you all, to the key speakers, a big thank. It was really impressive and extremely not only interesting, but also very inspiring in my opinion. Now we will start discussing and having another half an hour of Q&A. I will invite all my colleagues to raise their hands, and I will ask Francesco to stop the sharing because we need to see. Okay, now we are great. I will invite, as I said, my colleagues to raise the hands for questions. Don't forget the button, which is on the right hand down. Do not put the hands in the video because I don't see all of you. And I will start myself inviting our key speakers to answer to some interesting questions, but probably much more important and interesting for everybody looking this is the answer. It was mentioned that 10% of the cars by 2030 will be autonomous. What is your perspective on this? What does it mean from Pininfarina point of view, autonomous? It will be really autonomous, like level 5, or this 10% will be obviously less than level 5? What do you think? I know, Giuseppe?
Yes, I may start, and then I will hand over to Dave and to Francesco. You know, as Pininfarina, we have quite a privileged point of observation of the market because we do work with many car makers worldwide in different geographies, Europe, Asia, North America. And so we have the possibility to observe different, let's say, behaviors and also different product briefs which are related to programs that will come to the market in the coming years. You know, our work is based on 100% on confidentiality because we work on programs that will come to the market in a few years. And having this privileged point of observation, we see that there is an average trend, the one that Dave has depicted before, but probably not all the car makers will go for the same approach in terms of autonomous driving. So to answer your question, probably there will be a combination of different levels of autonomous driving, depending on the positioning of the product. Not all segments may be considered equivalent, depending on the geographies, and depending on the confidence that every single car maker will have about the requirements and the expectations from his own customer base. So, in a nutshell, this is why the AutonoMIA project is capable to...
Giuseppe, just a second. Hey, Stepan, you by coincidence, you share your screen. Please unshare your screen. We need to come back. Stepan, can you hear me? Now we are back. Sorry for that.
Okay, now we're back. No problem at all. So this is why AutonoMIA is a versatile demonstrator, versatile concept. It may, you know, it's not by chance that we presented this demonstrator still with the steering wheel. So it is supposed to cope with the needs of driving and the needs of autonomous driving, and also the needs of infotainment, because infotainment is another important section of our offer, thanks to the platform by ART. So our expectation is that the market will still have to elaborate on which level focus the next developments. There is a trend, the trend to reach, but probably there will be some intermediate steps that we may support with a solution which is versatile, still keeping into consideration some sections of driving, potentially in autonomous driving, but some others probably still the most ones in the next years to be still driven. But all these needs a new approach, as Dave was showing at the beginning of our presentation. The new approach means that the system has to be more responsive, has to be more capable to involve the relationship between the machine and the passengers in a way that will make it more intuitive, more reassuring, will make people less scared about autonomous driving. So this is the principle behind our project.
Good. Maybe, I don't know, Francesco Ortix or David?
Yeah, to Giuseppe's point, there's not like one autonomous system. There's many ones. And I think we are supposed to go through many and do some hybridation. I will give you some examples. You can place some sensors, you know, on the road, and then the car will follow the sensors. You can have the capability to remotely, thanks to 5G, to drive a car. So with this capability to have an immersive, you know, environment around. You have also the capability to make the follow me system, meaning that you have a kind of a Sherpa, and then you are walking in the city and you have this car, you know, or this mobile, you know, structure following you. So we believe that there's many kind of hybridation capability to get more familiar with this kind of robots, let's say, on wheels. And time to time, we will see very different, you know, system growing around us. And then we will get more familiar with this system, with the robots, and then we will, time to time, we will accept them, and we will see many possibilities in terms of autonomy.
Francesco?
Yeah, I completely agree with let's say the colleague's vision, and for sure, I think that there will be different level, different styles of autonomous driving, and that for this reason, then you will have the user more at the center. Then all the system will need to have a high level of customization to cope with the user request. You will have somebody that will be scared, somebody that will be relaxed, and then the content will be should be let's say driven by the user needs. And I think for this reason also the AutonoMIA project has let's say a key advantage of this.
Good. It's becoming more and more interesting as we speak. Before I'm going to my colleagues, let me also put another question which was inspired by your presentations. You mentioned that nowadays in the AutonoMIA you can implement different kind of technologies, including the gesture control. We all wonder how far are these technologies to dialogue with the systems of the car, with the computers, how far they are to become, let's say, really tomorrow reality. Because if we talk about tomorrow reality 2030, it's for sure no discussion we'll have. But we wonder if these new technologies, as I said, to have a dialogue with the car, it's coming, and how quick they can come. What do you think about that?
I think that from the technical standpoint, probably Francesco Ortiz is the most entitled colleague to speak about that. So I will leave to Francesco. Let me just say that as Pininfarina, our role is to embed all these technologies which are enabling already significantly a new way of managing the car, the information, in a way that will make everything more intuitive, more responsive, more reassuring to the users. In other words, technology is there, more or less, but Francesco will tell you, and I would say more than less, is the way those different technologies are being combined in a design concept, in an experience concept that can make the difference. And this is our role, because we have to design an experience which is capable to put together technologies, but also design. At the end, there is the design of an interior, so there is the design of a cockpit. And you know, it's a combination of the two things that provides a seamless experience. Francesco, would you like to probably to say something about
yes. First of all, please let me say that you are completely right when you say that technology are not the problem, is how to use technology that is the competitive advantage. That's for sure. But regarding the question about what you have seen in the video, I would like to mention the first meeting that we had with Giuseppe and David. And it was a kind of brainstorming. AutonoMIA was not existing at all. It was probably Giuseppe, it was in our office, I think. And
yes.
We said something very important, and we agreed something very important, that we had to show something that it was reliable, existing, and possible. Of sure, we are exploring new technologies, but we are exploring technologies that are feasible for the next generation vehicles. Then we are not talking about 2030. We are not talking about tomorrow, but in 2-3 years time frame is reality for sure.
Good, good. Allow me to go now to my colleagues, and I will invite Tonio Darmanin from Malta to have the first question.
Good morning. What I need to understand is, you're creating a platform. Will this be sold to one specific brand, or will it be sold to more than one brand? And once it is operational, would it be able to communicate with other platforms that without a doubt are being developed concurrently with yours?
Thank you, Tonio.
Okay, thank you, Tonio, for the question. What we have created is a platform that shows, that demonstrates what we may go for in terms of user experience, user interfaces, embedding technologies. Behind there are technologies, the technologies provided by ART, that make what we are designing easily understandable as a concept, because you may see it, you may touch it with your hands, and you may experience it. But this is not a constraint to a car maker. If a car maker has its own platform, we may provide all the design activity till the so-called technical specification freeze. So all the experience is made designed, is made technically feasible through software development, and the car maker, our customer, may go for implementing that solution, which is a design in the most rounded way that is not only creativity, but also designed to make it producible, may go with this package into production with its own platform. So to answer your question, this is a service that we may offer to different customers. We do not have any constraint to go for a single brand, a single customer, because it shows that every single customer will ask for specific requirements. Pininfarina is designing, you know, Dan has reminded that we have designed 1,200 cars in our history. I mean, they are different projects. There are sedans, coupes, premium cars, ultra luxury, city cars, whatever. There is a briefing which comes to Pininfarina, and Pininfarina is responding with its utmost capabilities in compliance with that briefing. We envisage that there will be a briefing also from different car makers, but we are there showing that we can cope with different briefings, with versatile solutions. Having the know-how, this is the most important point.
Good. Dear colleagues, don't forget to raise the hands, as I said, in a digital form, not on the video. Now I will invite Altan from Turkey to have his questions.
Yeah, sorry, it was closed, the micro. My question is, another big customer for Pininfarina, actually, many, like the many others, like Vietnam and like Hong Kong. My question is, first question is the Turkish battery electric vehicle project, TOG, design is similar like your other projects like Hong Kong 550 concept or VinFast SUV? And on which points was the contribution of Murat Günak? He was the design best from AUTOBEST in Hall of Fame on this TOG design process? Because we heard that Murat Günak was in Pininfarina. And did you working also for other TOG models like small compact SUV, I mean B SUV and C hatchback and compact minivan? These questions are very important because the most, all the car enthusiasts in Turkey are waiting for these answers. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Okan. What we may say about our partnership and our collaboration with TOG is restricted to the confidentiality that we have with all our customers. So basically is what probably you have already seen through official releases by TOG and by us. But just to answer your question, yes, for sure, we have a very important cooperation in design with TOG. TOG is a very important customer of ours. And we designed the two cars that were shown in the form of show cars at the end of December in Istanbul. As far as I remember, it was December 27, if I'm not wrong. There was this very, very important event by TOG, and Pininfarina was extremely glad to attend as the design house of these two cars. The project, these two projects, from scratch, 100%, so they do not have any commonality with any other project worldwide in our customer base. This is our approach, of course. But secondly, and to answer your question, because we have worked, our design team has worked in a very strict way with the TOG team, that is the team of the customer. And there was, and I was personally, and we all at Pininfarina, we were personally very glad to work with Murat Günak, who was included in the team of resources of TOG. So there was a customer asking for a given briefing. As Pininfarina, we went into designing the cars in accordance with the briefing, and this style research activity lasted about 7 months from scratch, from the very beginning, till the result. And in a very, let's say, effective way of cooperating between the two teams. And then there was also a product clinic that was done by TOG team in order to see amongst the different proposals, because, you know, design projects, they start with broader, let's say, possibilities, and then they go converging into a given direction. This is what we did through the product clinic that was run by TOG in order to see which styling direction was bestly, let's say, matching the expectations from the Turkish market. So this is what we did, and we're very glad to have done it in a very cooperative way with TOG. We cannot say more because, you know, the project is, the cooperation is going ahead, is protected by confidentiality as it has to be, but this is exactly what we have done so far.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now I will ask Mishko from Macedonia to raise his question.
Yes, in the last 10 years, the accent of the development of the cars is put it on autonomous drive and onboarded entertainment. But I want to hear from you which materials will be stars in the next 10 years to build the coaches of the cars, and according to you, which propulsion will be in the future, because electric propulsion is more and more popular, but also we have fuel cells and how they will be reflected in a future design of the cars.
This is a very interesting question. Thank you. You know, we design and engineer cars because we have to remind that Pininfarina is a design house, but also an engineering house, based on the requirements of our customers. So we receive a briefing about a new car or a new vehicle to be designed and engineered. So choices, they are strictly driven by the car makers, by definition. But to answer your question, since we have the opportunity to, let's say, to put together a trend perspective based on the requests that we are processing in the last years, no doubt there is a growing trend, a visible trend, extremely visible trend about electric vehicles. So we are receiving and we are processing more and more in the last years new programs related to electric vehicles. So this is a clearly visible trend. As regards electric vehicles, we have to say that what is also getting broader is the range of vehicles that are being considered to be electric for the future. So now we may account premium vehicles, mainstream vehicles, even city cars. So we see that the technology is covering a broader, let's say, a number of segments, just as a trend. Okay. Fuel cells. We have been engaged at Pininfarina in designing fuel cell cars, at present only as concept cars, not as cars still intended for production. But we expect that probably there could be an increase also in this request. You know, what is important to say is that at Pininfarina, one of our most important attitude is the capacity to combine design with engineering at the level of the so-called architecture of the vehicle, the package, the layout. You perfectly know that an internal combustion engine layout is much different than an electric one. so-called skateboard. It is much different than a vehicle housing tanks for hydrogen. So they are totally different. Our experience is capable to manage all these different layouts and make the so-called hard points compatible with our design activity. So this is probably one of our strongest competencies that we can make available to car makers.
I'd like just to add something else. It's about the fact that the more we go into this mobility system, the more we involve software. And the software is digital transformation is happening also on mobility. That means that we can't design the autonomy of a car without thinking about the city. So the way to operate mobility, we need to converge with different industry stakeholders all together around a common digital platform. That's why it's forcing even the car makers from a software point of view to have a common strategy. So this is what I would add to it. So this is transforming deeply the car makers' design practice and engineering in terms of software.
Good. Let's go now in Cyprus to our dear colleague Petros Soutsis. Petros, have your question.
Hello, everybody. I have a general question just to give an idea to our audience and readers about the car design. How much it was affected through the years from the, let's say, electrification of the industry? What was changing in your job through the years?
Oh, I mean, it's an interesting question in the sense that, first of all, I mean, there are several aspects related to your question. For instance, from the market standpoint, before then talking about the technical standpoint. From the market standpoint, electrification has made it possible a phenomenon that was considered unfeasible in the automotive industry, that is to have a new entrance in the industry. We all know that from, let's say, the economical standpoint, the automotive industry was considered having too high barriers to entry for a newcomer, since the industry was based only on internal combustion engines. It was considered an industry requiring too high investment for a newcomer. The advent of electrification, the situation has changed because vehicles has got somehow less complex. I mean, a purely electric vehicle, a purely electric platform has simplified the complexity of the platform. Just in terms of number of pieces, there are less pieces than in an internal combustion engine platform. So this has brought to the possibility of having newcomers into the industry. So the phenomenon of the so-called startup companies in the automotive has been facilitated by electrification of vehicles. And this has changed the landscape of the industry compared to 2 decades ago, where the car makers, they were only the well-known, consolidated, established car makers. So from the market standpoint, there has been this change. From the technical standpoint, it's very clear that a purely electric vehicle, and I'm mentioning this, which is not a detail, a purely electric vehicle can allow a different degree of freedom when designing a vehicle, because there isn't anymore all related to the engine bay of a conventional engine typically in the front of a vehicle. So now the core of the vehicle has changed. There are the motors and there is the battery pack in the center of the vehicle. So you see that the technical ingredients, they are located in different places than a conventional vehicle. And you may go around these introducing new design languages, typically in the front section of the car. Another aspect to be taken into consideration is that, and this is a challenge to the car makers and to a design house like we are, and engineering house like we are, battery packs which are normally concentrated within the two axles, they bring to raise the height of the vehicle because there is the height of the battery pack. So you see that new challenges have to be considered in the design language. Typically, an SUV can go high because it has its own perception on the market. It has to have a height body for being considered an SUV. More challenging is to go for a sedan or a coupe because you have to merge this technical constraint into a body that has to be lower, otherwise it wouldn't be a sedan or a coupe. So those are challenges that we are coping with in our daily life, in our daily activity, that are coming from the electrification. Electrification is introducing new challenges and new degrees of freedom when designing a vehicle.
Dear friends, we have another 5-6 minutes, so it's probably time for the last two questions. So it's the right moment. If someone wants to jump with a question, please do it. If not, I will do this because as always, as the founder and chairman, I'm always the last one putting questions, a part of moderating. And one question is actually coming from so many people around the world. And it's so simple, the question. I'm wondering the answer, what is the Pininfarina answer is. In this future, which is electrified, green, autonomous, very connected, what will be the criteria, the reasons someone, a customer, will buy a car? In the past, it was easy, we all know. But in this near future, when these new things are coming, what will be really important? What will really matter for a customer in deciding which car will buy? What do you think, Giuseppe?
I answer on my side, but and then of course they will add or they may add that design will keep on in making the difference. Because at the end, if you're going to purchase a vehicle, design is a crucial factor in your decision. But even if you are sharing a vehicle, we were just, let's say, commenting internally at Pininfarina, if I had to choose between two vehicles for sharing, and one has a beautiful design and the other one has a less convincing design, who would I choose? Probably the first one. So design remains something having a strong, probably the strongest impact on the very, let's say, immediate decision for addressing a decision. Then there is a second point. The second point is about the experience, the overall experience. And here is where there is a significant change in the paradigm with electric vehicles, because electric combined with autonomous, combined with 5G, the experience will have to be holistic, will have to be seamless. I make you an example, a practical example. Each of us having an internal combustion engine is used to go to the gas station for refueling the car. It's normal, it's our daily life. With an electric vehicle, you will have to go for recharging at home also. So it's something that it's like saying that before you were refueling your car in your garage, you never did it. You know what I mean? So it's a new experience. This is the reason why at Pininfarina we have designed wall box chargers for residential usage, for home, because that will be part of your experience. you see how the experience all in one will change. It will be made by different, we call it touch points. And this will be part of the elements that will drive your decision in favor of a vehicle than another. Our design is therefore contributing to all these aspects.
I will add to what Giuseppe just said, and I think it's very inspiring, on the fact that if you want to look into the future, I'm looking on the kids of today, the generation, and you see the kind of behavior they have. It's very connected with the online and digital activity. And for sure, and we didn't mention it, but as you know, Pininfarina is part of Tech Mahindra and Mahindra, ecosystem, and we are very inspired by future technology. I name it like 5G. We mentioned it with artificial intelligence, augmented reality, mixed reality, and we believe that the experience of traveling will be very inspiring in the future by mixing this digital activity. The involvement of software is opening roads for imagination, which is unbelievable. And I believe that probably we learned with this COVID that perhaps we will not travel long distancing, but the journey will be fantastic. And I believe that thanks to this digital opportunity, we can transform completely the way we will experience traveling, the way we will experience mobility within a combination of all this technology in the future. So I've been going through, in my career with Philips Design, I see what, the iPhone and the iPod bring to cut, and to be very disruptive. I go through the Dassault system with the digital twin, and I saw we can simulate everything in order to take decision and to manage very complex projects. Then I go to Orange in order to see what 5G is going to change. I've been working on the Olympic Games of 2024. And it's, again, even sports is going to be transformed on the way we will, experience, sports. So the car for sure, and the mobility as an extent, and the traveling experience also will be completely transformed, and we will be very, very inspired by what gaming industry is doing, entertainment also in the future. So it's combination of many industries, know-how, and foster imagination.
Now, you have to know that we received several questions coming from Facebook. The people who are just seeing us, we are still live. I selected just one question, which is definitely properly to be addressed here to Pininfarina. And the question is, what do you suggest to the people who wants to become a car designer?
I would suggest to send a CV to Pininfarina. This is what I would suggest. Francesco Fiordelisi, do you have some further comment to that?
Well, I also suggest to follow us on our website and on our social channels, because very soon we will launch a design contest, an international design contest. And so all the students of design schools and architecture school and design university will have the chance to join us if they are one of the winners of the design contest, because the award will be an internship at one of our design studios in Torino, in Miami, and in Shanghai. So stay tuned.
And work hard, work hard.
And work hard.
Work hard. Always, always.
And of course, I will say with work hard with a lot of imagination, like our dear friends from Pininfarina are doing every day, like Francesco Ortix is doing every day, because without imagination, creativity, just working is not working. Thank you very much. Was a real interesting, exciting, and inspiring session we have together. Thank you, Giuseppe. Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you, Francesco from Pininfarina. Thank you, dear colleagues. I think it was great to be together, and don't forget, AUTOBEST Summit Series is about all these fascinating things coming from our dear love for automobile and more. Thank you very much. Have all of you a nice day.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.